he himself says that, they tried to adapt apartheid. And our slogan was very clear. You cannot reform apartheid. You have to abolish it. So it was met with that kind of countermeasure. De Klerk, but the person who first started talking to us was not de Klerk. He gets the credit. It was P.W. Botha. You see? P.W. Botha. And their initial contacts with us were, what sort of people were we? Particularly, what sort of individual was Mandela? They knew Tambo. They did not know Mandela. So P.W. Botha's contacts were there because Mandela had said, negotiate with the ANC. Don't talk to me, negotiate with them. But then he agreed to meet. Kubi Kutsi, who was the Minister of Justice, had been putting pressure on P.W. Botha, talking to him, saying, you need to talk to the ANC. We need to know what sort of person Mandela is. And so he agreed to meet with, well, the first talks were Kubi Kutsi, then with intelligence. Now, when I asked Mandela about this, I said, did you agree immediately? And he said, I was worried. I didn't want to talk to intelligence people, but I think he made it a precondition. So Neil Barnard was one of the people who was involved in this. There was also a battle within the National Party between the intelligence, the Department of Constitutional Affairs and PW's office, you see, as to who would monitor whatever change was happening on this side. And PW won at that point. Later on, he lost out. But PW was the one who initiated. When I asked Mandela, I said, what did you do? How did you feel when you were going to see PW? He said, I was determined about one thing. And then he said, no, two things. I was determined that he would not treat me the way he treated some of the African leaders he'd met. I said, what's the second thing? He says, that I was not going to negotiate. He had to negotiate with the ANC. So he was disarmed by P.W. Botha, because when he got there, P.W. Botha stood up, greeted him, made him sit down and poured tea for him. So when he was telling me this, I said, so what did you? He said, I was determined about those two things that I told you about. So, because P.W. Botha obviously treated him with respect, you see. But he did make clear, negotiate with the ANC, not with me. Prisoners cannot negotiate, you see. So that they had to negotiate with the ANC. The ANC could decide who the negotiators were, but it had to be a mandate from the ANC. So that was the beginning of that. But then there were internal problems. De Klerk certainly, when he was coming overseas, was talking about how they were adapting and how they were reforming apartheid. But the ANC's thing was very simple, and the people at home did not accept those reforms as they were put. They said, no, you cannot reform the system. It's so total, it's so comprehensive that you have to abolish it. The only way is to abolish it.